because they're making money hand over fist. They announced a deal this morning with the city of Indianapolis to bring the flagship premium live events there over multiple years. It's an 8-year deal. And guess what? That ain't the last one. That is going to be the standard. We're going to know about Rumble, SummerSlam, Mania sites years out. We're going to know that stuff because they're going to sell it as a package. They're going to go look at the money that got brought in. I think it was the whatever it said, the $300 million. They're selling it like the Super Bowl. You got to bid on it. It's not the Super Bowl, but it brings in a hell of a lot of people. Indy's not some glorious town, but anybody who's gone there for the NFL Combine will tell you, hey, it's a pretty good place to have that. Everything's kind of centrally located. It works out nicely. I'll put Rob's question up there because I'd love to handle that one. Rob just said, Saudi WrestleMania or Rumble? If I had to guess, Rob, they'll get a Rumble first. But I would say within 5 to 7 years, a WrestleMania will happen in Saudi. There's too much money. They want that money. They'll go get that money. Will that be part of the next Saudi deal, which is a massive deal for the company? Just strictly talking about dollars and cents. It's a massive deal for the company. And TKO, Endeavor, they want every dollar there. And more, WWE was at the beginning of entertainment stuff going to Saudi and took a lot of rightful heat for it. I don't think that heat has to go away, but a lot more entertainment entities, whether they performers or brands or companies or sports, they're going over there. WWE went first, and look where they're at. Tombstoner Forever says Saudi crowds aren't that exciting compared to other foreign crowds. Yeah, but I actually don't think they're that bad because early on it was, and you could see, I don't think they had wrestling fans sitting close by. They had like those couches and stuff. And now I think, going into arenas, not always running massive places, there is a very good fan base there. From the people I've talked to that have gone, the humans there, not the terrible people that might be running things or God knows what they're doing. The normal human beings that are just citizens there, that are not bad people, they love it. They're very nice. They enjoy the product. There's a thirst for the product. So I don't think they're at the level of what France is or what Germany will be or, what Puerto Rico was. No. Or Scotland. I don't think they're at that level, but I actually think they're a pretty solid crowd. And you know what? They're in on everything. They want to be part of the show. And I think it works that way. As I'm looking at the chat. Oh, Tom, there you go. Talking about Indy. Convention Center is right there by the Dome, and Bankers Life Fieldhouse isn't too far either. Downtown Indy was set up for major events. That's how I felt about Philly. For years, I thought Philly was perfect because they had, Lincoln Financial Field, Eagles. You have Citizens Bank, where the Phillies play, and whatever the heck the bank is, I can't think of oh my God, not the First Union Center, that's the old name. The Wells Fargo Center. They have inside stuff. They have a convention here, have your show here, have outdoor stuff here, and they had the Xfinity Live. It's set up perfectly, and I think that's why Philly did so well. Plus, it's close to New York. So Indy, anything that's centralized that people can get to easily, and I would think Indy, and Tom, correct me, you're there in the area. Indy in April shouldn't be too bad. Also, Lucas Oil Field, you can take care of that. I'm sure Jim Irsay will talk about the dome situation there. Let's see. Look at some more of these. Pedersen, about time to get to Indy, a huge market there. They tried. I think part of that issue has been while there's a lot of people there, can they afford? I know it's not a country that has a lot of people with money to spend. There's a lot of people there, but man, WWE, you see some of the ticket prices. It's tough. So it's been tough to break through that. Rob said the international crowds have been very hot, but much like the UK soccer teams coming to the US for summer friendlies and selling tickets, MSG gets X dates a year. How could they be as excited as France? Yeah, there is something to that because a lot of people have talked about the crowds being so hot over there. And I think a big part of it is the supply and demand. If you don't go to Scotland that often, then they're going to be more excited about it. And you build up the show for Drew McIntyre and you put some Scottish talent on there. France doesn't get it that often. So there is a level to that. There is a level to the fact that, they're going to run Barclays 3 to 4 times a year. They're going to run Philly 3 to 4 times a year. They're going to run Boston. They're going to run Chicago. And look, I heard Chicago on Friday. That's the best SmackDown in forever. You open the show with Punk. You're in Chicago, and then you follow up with a hell of a show on top of that. Now, it's not going to be like that every week. It's just not. Not every show is going to have that multiple big moments. SmackDown had that. I think SmackDown's been kind of boring. Well, they send Cody over. You get Cody. They send Punk over. Cody saves Punk. Drew shows up, goes after Punk. If Jacob Fatu at the end of the show, you had the brawl with LA Knight and Logan Paul. You had Chelsea Green qualified for Money in the Bank. You had a lot of talked about moments that we're still talking about today, moments that will carry into Raw. Not every show is going to be like that, but SmackDown hasn't had a show like that in a long time. SmackDown hasn't had a show like that since Roman's been there. And if you want to say that's a Cody problem, go ahead. I just think it was kind of a boring book show. Maybe there is something to the fact that they changed writers. So another question here. I just saw about timing. I thought somebody had a question about timing. What about the start time for Mania overseas? Could that be an issue? So we're putting a poll up. Do you think early PLEs hurt your experience at home? And we've talked about this a little bit different. Just in terms of PLEs having 5 matches, 6 matches, short cards, they'll be over in 3 hours. The early start times to me on a Saturday aren't a problem, even on a Sunday. And I don't think they're going to go back to Sundays. I don't think they're a problem because if you think about the early start times, over there it's not early start. They're getting prime time starts for France or for Scotland or Saudi. Like those are all prime time hours for them. The experience at home, personally, whether I was working there or being able to watch from home in this role, I'm cool with the PLE being an early afternoon. You're done by 5, 6 o'clock. You still got your Saturday. You still got your Sunday. Like if AEW wants to run their long shows and go 4 hours, you do that earlier. Like they'll do that earlier for Wembley. People won't bitch and complain as much. If you go to midnight, 12:30 on a Sunday, you're wiping out your crowd. You're wiping out your home crowd. You're wiping out your overseas crowd that stayed up late for it. Elmo watches wrestling way better than ending at 12:30 a.m. Eastern on Sunday. Yeah, it doesn't need to be that late. And shout out to those of you who are here. And if you're here and you haven't done so yet, make sure you subscribe. That's the spot right there. Should I do this? It's like a line, right? I'm at an angle. I don't know if you guys can tell. This is an angle here. But thewrestlingmatchshow.com. Please subscribe. As always, it is right under Todd and Xavier Woods. And shout out to Austin Creed for celebrating 20 years of professional wrestling. He put out a great basically career resume in about 3.5 minutes on his social media this weekend. There's a guy go look up that cage match. Go look up pre-New Day, Xavier Woods, TNA, facing Kota Ibushi in New Japan. That happened. Go look. That dude's got a hell of a career. I'm so happy for him. An innovator in every sense of the word, a voice for the locker room, a voice for the talent, a voice for the fans. Everybody should have the hustle of Austin Creed. So very happy for him. Wanted to make sure he was properly represented as we changed some little decorating up. I moved back a little bit. The mic's in a different spot. The lighting's a bit better. All of that for you guys. And make sure you subscribe at thewrestlingmatchshow.com. Let's see. David says, I think WWE wants Mania in primetime. Mania is in primetime. Mania is always in primetime. That's never changed. Skylar said, I fell asleep by 9. Earlier the better. You're a dad, Skylar. That's what happens. We fall asleep. Long days. Well, we try to stay awake for all this stuff. Hey, this is Matt Camp. Thanks for checking out one of our recent clips from the Wrestling Mat. Why is someone so close to The Rock kind of throwing Cody under the bus?
Yeah, a lot of people won't engage with Jim Cornette. I did, just because I have a mark for Jim Cornette. And
Please subscribe right now. Hit the like and turn on notifications so you don't miss a thing. And I think you should listen to your TV partners. Let me tell you about WWE and a little insight. More subscribers means more content. And make sure you follow us on social media at WrestlingMat23 on both Twitter and Instagram.